Uncle Ben, let's start with your age. How old are you now?
My age, I was born 1939 in February.
1939.
1939.
And you were born in Mossel Bay?
No, I was born in a place, Yuki.
Yuki, Eastern Cape.
No, it's not. Yes, it's
Yes,
Eastern
Eastern
Cape.
Cape,
No,
yeah.
you know what? I'm trying to run away. In that Eastern Cape, there is that Transkei. All those
And
things.
they've changed the borders and everything. So when did the family come to Mossel Bay?
My family, my father and my stepmother walked all the way, sometimes from Yuki, as my father used to tell the story. They just came all the way. Sometimes my father used to go into farms and work a little bit, and then the family, when they got something to eat, they start walking until to Uniondale. From Uniondale, they went to Humansdorp. And Humansdorp, somewhere there was a dairy farm there. My father got a job there. Now, while they were doing that job, Mr. Rose from George was involved in that dairy. He thought that he can take my father to George. So he took my father to George. There is a circle. When you go to George to Wilderness, there's a circle there.
Yes.
In that circle there, the farm house was there. On the side.
Wow, okay.
That's where my father took me and my sister from Yuki to there.
So there was a farm and now there's
There
a
was a
road
farm,
and
a
circle.
small farm there, in a dairy farm.
So your father then worked as a dairy worker.
He was milking the cows there.
Wonderful.
That's
You
what-
have to be a very calm person to milk cows, I hear.
Yeah.
Cows need lots of loving care and peace and quiet, otherwise you can't milk
Yes.
them. And your father's
My
name?
father was Charlie Gesels Mayixhale.
Okay. And how long did he work in George on that farm? That you can remember?
I was still growing up because we didn't even attend school there. But that Mr. Rose sold the farm to an English old soldier. When he came there, he was too rough to my father. My father did not like his handling.
wasn't
And then my
handled well.
father hired a lorry and we went to Oudtshoorn. In Oudtshoorn, we stayed in a location called Plessis Island, next door to, I'm sorry why I'm becoming emotional now. There's nothing wrong in that, I don't know. And we stayed in that location, that is where I started schooling. And my father found out that we were already at the back. They decided to send us back into Cala for a year, which was 1951 or so. Yeah, it was 51. But suddenly my father got a job in Breakwater in Mossel Bay. Because in Oudtshoorn there was not enough job there. In so much that we
Struggled.
we struggled and we become accustomed in smuggling, selling the wines and bottles of wine. We used to make cells, dig in the yard, secret cells in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
and
you,
even
that's what
Dhaka
you did to
also.
survive. A bit of a smuggling business.
Smuggling business. Because even if you can look at also now, you don't know why the people are flocking into there. What are they going to do there? They don't plant nothing.
Yeah.
But you see people staying there for a long time.
And it's
They can say
so Oudtshoorn wasn't a very happy
they
time.
they know how to live there. But my father decided to come to
here.
Mossel Bay, and in Mossel Bay he worked in the railways.
Okay, so he started here then as a railway.
Yeah.
But that was a good time for him. You said was he happy on the railways? Did he have a
He was
position?
happy. He was happy because he even he did like that the opportunity of having a ticket, railway ticket.
To go places.
Yeah, to go places, and even when he went to fetch us, he could arrange tickets for us to come from there to here.
So then you traveled. Did you travel from Oudtshoorn by train to Mossel Bay?
No, we did not come to Mossel Bay until our father got the job here.
Okay.
And this is in this map now.
Are you going to
They-
tell me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're getting to the important part now.
Yeah.
So you said to me when we last spoke that now you needed a place to stay here in
Yeah.
Mossel Bay. Now
Yeah.
we're getting to the interesting part now, where what happened at
Yeah.
Mayixhale Street and who stayed where. So
You see,
Ben, you've got a
this
map.
is
Explain.
this is the map that I have. I drew it this morning in so much.
okay.
Yeah. In this JCC camp, our house was first put there inside the JCC camp. This is the JCC camp. As you can see, was the TP hospital, which I think maybe was the hospital for the JCC camp people. But the time we came there, it was a TP hospital. And we established a house here. But unfortunately, it was like the way they do in the shacks. You get people there who are familiar to the place. You ask them for permission. They say, "No, let us go on." And there was some people who were cleaning that JCC camp because that JCC camp was being used by that time now by the seasonal people of Langerberg factory,
Oh, I see.
the canning factory. So the canning factory had some people who were guarding that place. So
So it was safe.
those people gave us the right to make a house there. But then somebody was noticed by police from who came from also in a good strain, followed all the way to the to the old Mossel Bay station, to our house. He was caught there in our house. She was a woman. She was caught in the house with Raha. When the woman arrived in the house, in our house, he was going to sell the dacha by hand. He made bigger parcels. Now she wanted something to tie the parcels in a wool.
Or string or
A
something.
string, yeah. He asked for my grandmother. I mean, not my grandmother, it's my stepmother, for something to tie. But she gave her an old wool because she used to crouch. She dismantled old
jerseys to get wool.
And a big wool.
That's clever.
Yeah. But when that woman was caught in that house, they searched our house. They could not find any more dagga, but only in that woman's
So were your family in trouble then?
Yeah,
when this
in
happened?
trouble now. Now a man, a policeman called Mr. McDonald, was so clever. He said, "No, we cannot leave the owner of the house here. We must get something to get her also mixed up in this thing." So he got the mind. Now, no, those parcels are now tied with that wool. He wanted to know where did this woman get the wool, and then they find out that this wool was coming from my stepmother. So my stepmother was taken to
Also to jail.
police station.
Also jail, police station. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, now.
And she was actually innocent. She just gave string.
Yeah, but now it was that time. She was she was accused also, and then she was charged about 32 pounds.
Oh, given a fine.
She was fined 22
Lots
pounds.
of money in those days.
And when my father came back, he decided now we are not going to do any smuggling anymore. But the people who were guarding that place came to my father and said, "No, you must leave.
You're a risk."
Yeah, you are a risk, you must leave this place. And my father went to his bosses in the railway. They liked him. He was making tea. He was a tea boy in that place. So they went to the municipality offices. The municipality offices were just opposite the ShopRite Checkers, there, just on the wall of the old railway station.
Yes, on the bottom there were Checkers is now, that's it.
Yeah.
Today. Okay, yes, the old municipality building.
They went there, his bosses took my father there, and then the municipality decided to build a house, a show house there. As you can see, that was the entrance from the Almeida. You see that hotel there. It was up there, and just behind there is a row of the Almeida. Behind the row of the Almeida, that road was stretching there to that show house. They made a show house and just got somebody to make stands there.
And who paid for those houses? Who built them?
No, everybody was supposed to. They made only a show house because it was the scale blanc. I don't know in
net 'n plankhuis.
English, plankhuis.
Oh, plankhuis, yeah.
Yeah. They made stands there for about 117. I cannot remember now. But when they saw the rent, they took the whole JCC camp over. In the JCC camp, there were all big halls there. I don't know how the soldiers used to stay there. There were big halls, a few of them, I think about 4 or 5 of them, inside this yard, as I've drawn in here. So when the people people got out of those holes now. They also built some houses there. Then municipality found out they were making rent. They took all the space and all the houses, even our house, we left it there, sold it to another Rangaper worker. Was taken over by the municipalities, and the municipalities took the people who are surveyors, they surveyed and make some streets inside JCC camp. This I witnessed myself. I could see those people using such things inside the JCC camp.
And so this is now, so you moved to this area now?
We moved to this area, this small area. This area is just opposite the clinic there. Just behind the first row of the Almeida there. There's the last house is in opposite that clinic. Inside,
clinic?
just Slovo. Now.
Oh, I see. So it's the Ieto clinic, this side of it then.
Yeah. That is what I know now. When we came back, first when my father brought us back, we as children, he bought 2 donkeys and a donkey cart and 1 cow, and later on he had some goats also from a man who was working as a cleaner in a police station. I used to walk with that bunch of things which are not going the same direction. The donkeys want to go this way, the goats want their way, and the cows want to go their way. But
and there's no houses.
There were no houses around. There was a small location here called the Almeida. I know Outer Valley. Outer or Outer Valley. Before the Almeida was built.
And so then you spoke to me last time, I remember you quickly mentioned that when this area started developing with 100
and something
then people started staying there, but your father was seen as the person that everybody went to with their troubles. You said that your father was very wise.
My father, actually, we are from a royal family. There is a place in Transkei. As you say, as you see that we are from, I was born in Yuki. My brothers were born in Maclear. Maclear is just opposite Tsoro. From Tsoro to Kumbu, that place is called, belongs to the Bondomises. So my father was from the royal family of the Bondomises. So he was fully acknowledged about family life.
And the hierarchy and how one should deal with conflict and things like that.
When the municipality took notice of him, he had also an influence of trying to make something about the family life. By that time, if a family gets a feud and maybe the man claps a woman, his wife or something. My father made it a point that he organized a committee. He was helped also by evangelists of Dutch Reform and other pastors also. They made it a point that if it's a small thing, maybe I'm making an expression of that he clapped a woman. That woman was not supposed to come straight for a small feud to the police station. So it was law. I mean, it was a known thing that before somebody goes to the police station,
Come to your father first.
come to my father first. And if the thing could be talked, I mean,
there would be a negotiation and
traditionally. They made a date and fixed that up. But if there is blood or something or continuation, then the police come
would
in.
step in. So when you said your father then was acknowledged by the municipality, are there any people and names that you can remember from those days, people that at the municipality that worked with him, any names or people that you can remember from that time?
There are many houses there who are even having the photos of those committees. There are houses that are known, even the families that are known to have worked with my father in that place.
So when did the naming of the street happen? How did that come about?
This naming of the street was made, I believe now, because I must put myself out of that one. Because this is what happened. When Dialmeida was developed into a JCC camp, because my father was still involved in that, we were told, because the apartheid policy wanted blacks to be 6 miles out of town, everywhere in South Africa. So when I left, we were still waiting for the municipality to buy a location place 6 miles out of the town of Mossel, which surprises me now that KwaNongqaba is in the middle of Mossel. Deep in the middle, to my senses, when I look at from Grootbrak and from the point, or there was not even Dana by that time. There was only that. Now KwaNongqaba is falling inside Mossel Bay. But what happened is that, as I heard later on, I heard that they are building a location, and my daughter she did come to me and told me, no, we are staying in Plessis. And when I wanted to know, I could not even know it because it was in the farms. As I used to have my father's cattle, we stopped in where the SPCA is. There was a wire, a fence, which went down the 13th to the sea. All that side was in the farms.
Sure.
And this side there was a hotel there, Jack's Motel. It came just spring on. It was not there before. It just came in there. So there was a big farm there in the SPCA place. It was called Booplas. In that Booplas there was also houses. As I see near the new graveyard, there is something of houses. It was there. But it was in the farms. There was that Cape Road that went there.
Yeah, now I understand, because some people that live in that area that's now been developed, they always say they come from Booplas. Now I understand why, because in the olden days the farm was called Booplas.
Yeah, no, well, that I cannot dispute because I did not know. Because as I can tell you, we did not go past the SPCA.
Yeah, that was where the town ended almost.
Yeah, if you see that Lutuli place, that Lutuli place was in the border of that farm.
When Mayixhale Street got named, was that after your father's
Yeah,
passing?
I was just blunt in explaining what happened. My daughter told me they actually started to go and live in Kwa when the mosques took the whole place and make everything while they were busy building that thing. When they were finished, some areas they did not need. They started building that location of Kwanongaba. And then those people who were controlling that place maybe took a book from the municipality. They pick and chose those names, and then that street, Mayixhale, was from them trying a remembrance of my father's
of his
legacy.
Yeah. And when you even now when you're on that street or you stand there, do you feel very proud?
Yes, ma'am. I was proud the first time I came from Pretoria.
To see it up. When
to
was
see up
that?
I cannot tell.
Just roughly.
Roughly, I came there already. They had all the houses from behind ShopRite down the slope up to, I cannot, zone 7 something.
So it was already developed.
It was already developed, and when I came there, I was still just a rough somebody. I was still drinking that time. They went to show me that street. I saw the ground there that the mosques had developed. Oh, I did like it because I was a soccer. But when I looked at Mayixhale Street, I was taking it from this mountainous place. I mean the steep. It goes strictly steep from the other side there, and it is going inside the location. And I used to cross there and look at it. Oh, they chose this for my father to remembrance of my. Only this steep. So I did not know it's starting from there to there. It took some time to know how far it is going, because people used to tell me, "Yeah, your father is remembered about this street," and when I look at it, oh man, because it was not even taught correctly that time. It was just very. I used to cross it and refuting everything because I was looking at that steep strip of only. This is my Kali Street. I did not even.
You didn't understand. That was such a
I didn't
difficult street
understand
at the
it
time.
because I was from Pretoria.
And how do you think he would have felt about that?
So
How would your father, have felt if he knew about the street named after him? Would it have made him proud? Would he have? What do you think he would have experienced?
no, it depends because even me myself, I liked it when I came at 2009. I came and I explored and saw how long it was and I became proud about it. Well, that's all because I know there's nothing to gain about it, but even if I get into a taxi, I tell the taxi people that you know what that street means. That is before I tell them who I am. Then I tell them that is a remembrance of my father.
And if you think about the things that are happening now, I mean, the community, there's a lot of unrest, there's a lot of violence, a lot of the things that your father worked hard to see if he can sort it out. What do you think he would have said about the trouble that we are experiencing in the community, the violence, and also the youth that seems to be going a bit off the rails? What would he have said?
Yeah, some of them really. I think it will come to myself because yesterday. Yeah, that is why I'm feeling so disappointed. I was disappointed yesterday. You know what happened? As I was in Pretoria, in Johannesburg, what made me to leave the place here was the issue of the stepmother. The stepmother. So I was not getting along with her so nicely. But I think she divided the family. She divided the family. I don't know if I'm right in putting it that way. Because when my father died, I was not told that my father died away. I came to find it, and then luckily my brother took me to his grave, and he showed me his grave, and I went away again. Coming back, but I had plans to come back home again, but. What happened is that in where I was working, we were in Nissan assembly. We were making even soldier equipment and trucks and all those things. When the 94 came in, those trucks, those army trucks went away and then were retrenched. So the problem was that I had a woman that I took from from Ciskei somewhere. And my children grew up in Pretoria. So the family did not want us to move back to Mossel Bay or anything. But now what I'm trying to highlight here is that those houses that were built in KwaNongqaba were rental houses from the municipality. But when the new dispensation came, they decided to use those municipality rent houses as RDPs. Now, what surprised me yesterday, I was 100% out of my wits thinking about the thing they call human rights. Those houses were given to people as RDP houses. So in my mind, the whole South Africa is giving RDP houses for the people. But my surprise, municipality of Mossel Bay has got a very funny thing. When they hand over the houses to people, then the culture or the rights of the people who were living in those houses are just gotten away of, because in our tradition, a family stays the way throughout. A family member becomes a family member of that family. So no matter that somebody is owning the house, if a man has got children, all those children are his children, and they will for lifetime become his family, his children. Everybody is a family of that house. So even our extended families enjoy to be families of that family house. Now the municipality here has done this thing to me now, personally. When they gave the houses to people, I was not here. So my brother was here. He had his own house. And I was drawing that map because I went to see the legal aid people, but they could not help me. Well, the municipality of Mossel Bay is known, or is in the Cape, is known to be uncorrupt. But their corruption is so strong, you cannot even solve a problem with legal aid. When they give your family house to somebody, there is an arrangement which is arranged from Cape Town head office to the municipality here in Mossel Bay. They make a file. They make that file for that owner, and they make it as a top secret and send it to Cape Town. Any member who belongs to that family, which is put aside, can no more enjoy to go to his own home or maybe to visit that place if those people are not don't want him there.
So Uncle Ben, when you returned to Mossel Bay, you could not go to your family home. Where did you stay when you came back from?
I stayed. I mean, when I came back here, I came back here because my brother needed me. I did not know what was wrong with him because he has already lost his wife also. But I came because he wanted me in his house, and then I came from my daughter in Cape Town. When I came into my daughter's house, in his house, he became furious and wanted nobody in his house. And then some suggestions said I must go to our old home, which is in Mateza Street. This Mateza was also an important man that my father used to use. In that Mateza's house, my stepmother died there. My daughter was looking after her. But my brother crookedly took that house when they were given it as an RTPN and registered it in his son's name.
So then, when did you move to Benevolent Park? When did you move?
I moved from his house when I went to our own house. His son chased me out of there, and I was housed by a church behind ShopRite. I stayed there until they finished their floors there. I was just starting that house. That was from 2008 to something 2011. And then I went, I tried to move back to my place in Pretoria, but it was still, there was protection, other things, and I had to come back to my home, but I could not stay in our own home. They decided that I must stay to my brother's daughter's house in Highway Park. And this was not friendly also. Then I went back to my daughter in Cape Town. So also my daughter was not so nice with me because she was giving me some hell. And then by the time I was staying in Highway Park, somebody was working for Louis. He delivered things to a woman who was staying right in this room, but I was left outside there in the Louis truck. I was driving with him around, and then he told me, "No, you can even look for a place here." And I came in, and then I applied to come and stay here because I don't have a place. Because of that top secret of the municipality.
You
Yeah,
have a name here, but you don't have a place.
I don't have a place in Mossel Bay where my father, I used to be a secretary of my father, but I cannot enjoy my own father's
Legacy.
legacy.
But now that you live here, I know that you work in the garden still. You quite active still. You said
I'm working very hard here because this place to me, when you come there, it looks very nice. All the even when you look at the structure of the building, it looks very nice. But when you come inside here, more special here, when I came here, the leaves were so thick like this. I will borrow them away, even stones there. From the gate up to that corner, I cleaned this place. I have, as you see these gardens here,
we're going to have a look now.
I've done all of them, up to, you can ask this white woman here, up to there. I'm doing it because
hard work.
I like a nice
It's
place. I like.
Uncle Ben, we must still move on to some other discussions. I wanted to ask you if you are still nice and healthy at your age. Do you want to give tips to younger people to tell them how do one stay nice and healthy at your high age?
My age, the strongness that I have, I believe, is only a grace of God. Used us as blacks to just guard them all day. They take somebody, the one who's going to transport the money from other parade, and this driver, he comes from another parade. They get into the van, come and then put me in, and then the one who is going to transport the money sit this side. They were told not to talk. They must just talk about the work and nothing else. And then I was then put inside. I can remember that. Those were a few days in a week, but I can remember them for many years because there was no talk. We're not supposed to talk. When I wanted to go to toilet, and these people, they just refuted this thing because they were not. I was forced inside them to try to stop them talking because that company of Fidelity Guards were English people from, I think, from England. And England and Rhodesia, most of them. And the other people were just hired in Johannesburg. So that's what happened.
So it's good. It's the grace of God, but it's also the gardening.
Okay, the grace of God is that
keeps you healthy.
When I went to Pretoria, my boss used to like me because I was strict. When somebody was having some invoices of things, while you come to me, I could see all the documents. Before you give me, I would tell you which is wrong, which is right. And then, but my problem was when my boss is out, I'm smoking. And then I smoke until I forget that to look around because he did not want me to smoke, but I kept on smoking. And one day he told me, I like you, but this thing of you smoking. And then it was not easy to stop. But I stopped smoking. But now later, the thing I stopped was drinking. I was drinking a lot. And I cannot remember myself being carried by people because I was drunk. People knew that I was just finishing the drink because I did not got drunk very easily. So after my retrenchment, I became sick. And I had a TB touch and all these things, and then actually I had to stop drinking. I did not know how to do it until I got born again, and I stopped.
It became easy.
Yeah. Now that when I went to Pretoria to bury my wife, the people of my peers, they are finished. I was there with young people. When they saw me, they were surprised to see me as I am. They cannot believe it's me. But all that stop of stopping everything made me who I am now. I am strong, even in the church. When I hear the sermon going on, when the pastor of the preacher is going to say, stand up, I stand up like this.
Strong.
Yes. And, sorry,
Not
ma'am.
like an old person.
All the people in the church, when they talk about Opa, then I must look round. They are talking about me. There is no old person.
There's no Opa.
There's no Opa in the church. I'm always in Cape Town and in Mossel Bay also. It's for a long time, from 2010, no, before 2010. And I know that I am there. The older people, I used to see them in Pretoria, in the church.
Is that everything you wanted to tell us?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's
the
a
other
lot
thing
more
is
stories,
that
but I think that's the main story for the day.
because I'm tall, 1956, at our school in JC's camp, we were in a church building with nice planks. Anyway, it was a Dutch Reform building. It was very nice and warm because it was plank floor, all everything. So when they started the Dompas thing, the Dompas was in Cape Town, then in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and in Port Elizabeth. And when they wanted all South Africans to carry the Dompas, they sent people in big machines. And again, in behind that clinic there was a ground. Our ground was up and down. they were put, those machines were put there. We had taken photos there. They went to our school and looking for boys who are 16. I was the one because I was tall. they took me alone, and then I was feeling very, very touchy about it. I went to there. Nobody else in our school was as tall as I am, but they chose me. And then they asked me how old I am, and then they later went to our registration, what is that, roll call book in the school, register.
Oh yes, and they say you weren't 16, you were just a stall.
I was maybe 16, but my age, my tallness,
was taller than your age.
attracted those people to call me over the fence to come to take the dompas. I was the first person to have a dompas from school. And my dompas was written scholar.
Well, Uncle Ben, I think it's a wonderful thing to be strong at your age still, and you've got a wonderful history in Mossel Bay. And I'm really glad you shared it with us today.
Okay.
I hope we will be able to capture it all as well as you told it to us. But you certainly are an example. I don't think I can stand up so easily as you can. Thank you
I
very
can.
much. We want to see how easily you stand up. That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Uncle Ben, thank you very much. We must get moving.